Well, for a couple of days now, we have seen the Bharatiya Janata Party training its guns on the Home Minister, Mr. P. Chidambaram, in connection with the 2G scam. And we now do have Mr. Chidambaram with us for this very special interview. Thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us. You've been, of course, hearing the statements that have been coming from the BJP, from Mr. Gadkari and from Mr. Yashwant Sinha, essentially saying that they would like to indict you in the 2G scam. How do you respond to this?
Well, they are not the prosecutors nor the investigators. I think many of them represent the aging leadership of the BJP, which is still not reconciled to the fact that three things happened. Firstly, they lost in 2004, they lost in 2009, and third and most important, a younger leadership has taken over the parliamentary party.
So that's the reason Mr. Gadkari is getting upset.
Mr. Gadkari, does anyone take him seriously?
All right. Now, let's just come to the substance of what I think they are talking about. On the 26th of November, it is true that it was the Finance Ministry which was vigilant. Mr. Subbarao writes a letter saying this auctions are, you can't do it this way. You can't sell the spectrum, the licenses this way. You should have a spectrum, and you certainly can't sell it at 1600. 3 days later, a letter comes back from the Department of Telecommunications, and then after that, there seems to be no further communication. What was the reason for that?
Well, the record will show that on the letter that came from the DOT, I had marked 3 portions, and I had said, please examine marked portions carefully and put up to me. The examination did take place in the Ministry of Finance. In the meanwhile, a meeting of the Telecom Commission had been called. A full meeting of the Telecom Commission was called for the 9th of January 2008 with 3 items on the agenda, one of them being spectrum pricing. That is a compendious phrase for all elements of spectrum pricing. And I believe Mr. Subbarao, then Finance Secretary, has told the authorities that he was prepared to take up this matter in the Telecom Commission. That meeting was postponed to the 15th of January for no reason whatsoever, and the LOIs were issued on the 10th of January. And I believe Mr. Subbarao has said that came as a total surprise to him. So it's not correct to say that the 2911 letter was not examined or further action taken, except that it did not come back to me.
There is a affidavit that has been filed on the 11th of November, which you must be aware of, 2010, where actually the Department of Telecommunications is saying that there was no further correspondence after they wrote to the Finance Ministry on the 29th of November saying we are going ahead without auctions on the basis of a 2003 cabinet decision. So in a sense, the Finance Ministry accepted what they had said in that letter.
Well, that's a point of view, but the Finance Ministry never accepted that entry fee should be the same as what was discovered in 2001. The Finance Ministry's unwavering position was that the entry fee should be rediscovered. This was so until I was Finance Minister up to the 30th of November 2008. It was so even after I left the Finance Ministry, the Prime Minister took over and then Mr. Mukherjee took over. Consistently, the Finance Ministry has been saying on entry fee, please remember, I'm sure you're not overlooking it as Mr. Joshi did. The entry fee is the only issue that is in controversy. Should it have been rediscovered in an auction or not? The other 2 elements, spectrum usage charges and the license fee, are a proportion of the AGR, the annual gross revenue of the service provider. There's no controversy about that. On the entry fee,
excepting on the basis in which spectrum was allocated.
No. I think I should go into it more deeply, as we have done. The issues, no, those are procedural matters. We are not.
That's a procedure matter.
On the pricing part,
Right.
the controversy is about element number 1.
Right.
The controversy is not about element number 2 and 3. On element number 1, the consistent position of the Finance Ministry has been that since the earlier price was discovered in 2001 or so, a new price should be discovered.
This is almost exactly what was written on the 26th of November by the Finance Secretary. So in a sense, the Finance Ministry was, I have to say, vigilant at that point that you pointed it out.
And I may add, a few days earlier, I think it was about the 20th of November or so, there was a presentation in the Cabinet Secretariat. And the records show that the Finance Secretary specifically put the question to the DOT Secretary, will you please discover the price again by an auction? The DOT Secretary said no, that decision has been taken based on the 28th August 2007 TRAI recommendation. We are not going to change the entry fee for the 2G spectrum.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.